Hey, what is up, everybody? Happy Mother's Day. We're here with FSD Beta 11.4.1, and we're gonna go get my mom some flowers. Actually, one of my longtime followers messaged me and said, "Hey, I saw your FSD video and you were driving right by my flower shop. You should come by and get your mom some flowers for Mother's Day." So I said, "All right, I'll do that." So we'll go take it there, and I also wanted to give some of my thoughts on what's happening with FSD and some of the commentary we're hearing. Take me to 1702 Sepulveda Boulevard. All right, there we go. That's the address. And that's all you have to do. You just say where you want to go, turn it on, and it'll take you there. Sometimes you don't even have to touch anything at all. So, FSD is starting to work really well. Not just actually get you there safely, but do it smoothly and comfortably, maybe even more smoothly and comfortably than a human could. It's completely routine to now see the system outperform you in certain things. For example, spotting a pedestrian you didn't see, spotting that a light turned green before you did, spotting that a light has turned yellow or red before you did. All kinds of things, cars turning, all the stuff that happens. In many cases, you're like, wow, it already noticed that before I did. So Elon and the Tesla team have done it again. That's all I can say. It reminds me so much of the Model 3 ramp, actually, where people said, "Oh, Elon, that idiot, he wants to make EVs mass market. It's never going to happen. The Model 3 is a disaster. It's never going to be profitable. The company is going bankrupt." And, well, they were wrong. The Model 3 was a massive hit with consumers, and it's changed the face of our streets. You look at, even SpaceX. Similar situation there. They created a reusable rocket. Now with Starship, they're doing a fully reusable rocket. People said that's not possible. But you see those rockets landing on a drone ship in the middle of the ocean. They got it to work. And yet, I still see so much negativity, so much hatred for Elon and the Tesla team, even by Tesla customers and bulls and people who like Tesla, just bashing him, putting him down, putting the team down, saying FSD will never happen. It's time for us to realize that that viewpoint was wrong. This actually works. The strategy of getting an ordinary Tesla to drive itself with just computer vision, it wasn't so crazy after all. It turns out it actually is possible. And, someone might say, well, I live out in the middle of nowhere and it still doesn't work for me. I had this one turn and it was braking, It's like, yeah, look. It's incredibly challenging to get a piece of software that can work anywhere in the world and drive well. But it's 100% possible. I'm convinced of that. When you look at today's software, when you look at the rate of improvement we've seen, when you look at the advances in the state of the art in AI, this is clearly just scratching the surface. This isn't the pinnacle of what software can do. We're going to look back at this and be like, wow, that was a really shitty software, even though it's already, getting pretty good at driving. So, all around the country, performance is going to start to get as good as it is here in California. And this is an absolute fucking game changer. You know, it just makes me so sad that people are so cynical and, you know, they just get upset you even tried. Why would you say you're gonna make the car drive itself? You can't do that. You need LiDAR. It's never gonna happen. It's not working for me. What a ripoff. You know, at least they tried. If you had listened to those idiots, they would have never tried. They would have never built this. Instead, they said, you know what? Everybody's gonna bash us. Everyone's gonna shit on us, but they're wrong. This is actually a strategy that is going to bear fruit. And it has. I mean, the benefits of this type of AI in our cars are so fucking massive. Okay? Yesterday, or the other day, I was driving from San Francisco to LA. The car drove me for 6 hours without any takeover. Amazingly few input. The only input I gave was really to make it go faster. And it's, you know, I had a situation where, okay, I read the truck speed limit there. That's an issue that really annoys me. So I had to adjust the speed up. But, I was on autopilot and it started to change lanes to the lane to my right. And then there was a car in the lane 2 lanes over in the right that was also changing lanes into the same spot I was changing into. Now, normally this is something that would require you to take over for FSD. But before I could even reach up to grab the wheel, it had already aborted the lane change. So, having a car that can understand the world in such precision, in such detail, well enough that it can drive the car entirely on its own without the human giving any input if need be. This is extremely powerful. Even when they're driving manually, let's say I'm about to change lanes into somebody and have a collision on the highway, this system can now detect it, and it can beep, it can even move the steering wheel when you're in manual mode to help you abort that lane change and make sure you don't get in a crash. I mean, the benefits are just so huge. We're talking about preventing crashes, stopping all the traffic, all the time wasted, the lives lost, right? The property damaged with AI that improves all the time. This thing is just already so useful today that even if it never got better, it would be extremely impressive. It would be extremely useful to use every day. But it's not. It's getting better faster and faster. As I was driving down and had that 0 takeover drive from San Francisco to LA, another update came in. They're 100% doing this. They're doing exactly what they said. Is it taking a little bit longer than maybe they'd hoped? Yeah. Because it's fucking hard. It's the hardest fucking software problem ever attempted. The input space is infinite. Every drive is a completely unique input. And it needs to be able to drive correctly no matter what happens. This is the hardest problem ever attempted in computer science. And they've come up with this beautiful, elegant solution, which is just use computer vision. Throw some cameras around the car, feed that into a computer that's kind of like an iPad computer, or 2 iPad computers, 2 ARM SoCs and a x86 64 MCU, and that's it. That's all you need. A relatively low-cost computer, a bunch of cameras, which are dirt fucking cheap, maybe a radar on some of the hardware for cars, but this one, this car has a radar and it's disabled. cars using just computer vision. So what this means is we can take this technology and put it on every car really easily. We can transform roads overnight. We can put millions and millions of Teslas out there that have this software. And it's just starting to roll out in the United States. That's about a third of Tesla's global customer base. It hasn't rolled out to Europe and China yet. But as it does, it's going to transform the company. So everybody who mocked Elon and the Tesla team for investing so much in autonomy, they're looking increasingly foolish every day. And honestly, if I were in that situation where I had been mocking them for years and, oh, this is so bad, it's never gonna work, why would you even try this? You know, shame on you for even trying. I would say, you know what? I'm sorry. I was wrong. It turns out that this actually was worth doing. Because as they ship it out, their goal is to basically make the car impossible to crash, whether you're in manual mode or self-driving. And they keep pushing the state-of-the-art forward on safety. They crash test the car even after you receive it. Nobody else does this. And they push out software updates to make the car better. You know what they're working on now? They've got this cabin camera here, so it detects whether I use my phone. I mean, this is a huge deal. To make it so that it beeps at you if you're using your phone on autopilot, and it'll actually kick you out of autopilot. They'll actually take away your FSD for 2 weeks if you use your phone too often. So you have this huge incentive not to use your phone. It's very powerful. And distracted driving is a huge, huge cause of accidents. So they figured out a way to eliminate that, a way to get people to not use their phones, but then also a way that in the future, you won't even need to pay attention. You can be distracted and the car still won't crash. Even today, if I was a little bit distracted by something, it's unlikely to lead to a crash in the car because the car is so good at understanding what's happening around it. And now they're augmenting the cabin camera and they're adding actually drowsy driver detection. So they're looking at things like how you're tilting, they're detecting yawns, they're detecting how long you're blinking for. And if you're driving in manual mode, they're looking at how well you're staying in your lane. And they're going to detect drowsy drivers and then maybe beep at you or encourage you to pull over or, you know, tell you autopilot's disabling or something like that. So, you know, go look up on the CDC's website some of these statistics about drowsy driving. You'd be shocked at how often people fall asleep in their car. It's kind of crazy. You know, because people are tired, they had a, you know, long day at work and they barely slept last night, and they go, oh yeah, I can make it home, you know, I'm not gonna just stay at the office and take a nap, yeah, I can make it, and they pass out. So this feature will save lives, and they'll push it over the air to millions of Teslas. I don't see how you can look at these features, the active safety features, like automatic collision avoidance, drowsy driver detection, stopping people from using their phones, the FSD beta that makes safe, conservative choices, taking the wheel away from reckless Tesla drivers who are flooring it at every light to enjoy the 0 to 60 of 2 seconds on their Model S Plaid. Well, now you're putting the driving in the hands of a good citizen that's respectful to pedestrians and cyclists, that gives a lot of room, that doesn't run yellow lights unnecessarily. It's a huge, huge step forward. And it has created a product that is completely distinguished. It's not just an EV, it's a Tesla. And you can get another EV, you can get a Rivian or whatever. It's a great EV from what I hear. I haven't actually driven one myself. But it's not a Tesla. It doesn't have FSD. You're going to be driving that thing yourself. And it doesn't have the supercharger network. Well, there's a couple supercharger networks that have opened. But the full vertical integration of the supercharger network where I punch in the destination and it goes, okay, we're rerouting you to a less busy charger. And I just plug in and go. You're not going to get that in another EV. And with the new Model S and X, you actually get 3 hours of free supercharging. I mean, sorry, not 3 hours, 3 years of free supercharging. So imagine getting a new Model S or X with FSD and it can just drive you around the country unlimited for free. I mean, that's what we call product differentiation. Nobody else can offer that. Nobody else can offer that. I think, some of the other EVs give 3 years of Electrify America, but Electrify America sucks. So 3 years of the supercharger network for free, plus you don't even have to drive. Well, you have to monitor, of course, but you can tell it, take me to New York from LA, and it'll do it. And you don't have to pay a dime. You just pay your car payment, insurance, that's it. That's kind of an unbeatable deal. And I'm thinking when people realize that you can get a Tesla Model 3 for $35,000 in California after incentives, before even factoring in the fuel savings or the maintenance savings, and that every car comes with the hardware needed for FSD. So even if you just get the cheapest car without FSD, you can still buy or subscribe to FSD and run it, maybe get free FSD from the referral program, maybe at least subscribe for a road trip. Your car has it, and it's going to continue to get more and more autonomous in the future as Tesla rolls out these features, even rolls out a free version of FSD to replace basic autopilot. And from a business perspective, it's going to transform Tesla just in terms of the basic unit economics of the business, just in terms of what kind of margins we can expect. We're going to see less 20 to 30% margin revenue and more 60 to 80% margin software revenue. And every model that every analyst has made for how to value Tesla as a company that sells autos is going to break when they see really what the potential is. Tesla is rewriting the auto industry playbook, how you make money, and the constraints of really the economics of a traditional auto company aren't going to apply to them, because they have a product that's vastly different than anything that we've seen before. They're not just building the car, they're building the driver. And is it even really a car if it can go around and do tasks without you? It's a robot, it's not a car. And so just like mobile phones and cell phones were replaced by tiny computers that you could hold in your hand, cars are being replaced by robots, and the Tesla team is doing it. Look at this. We're almost there now. And I basically didn't give any input. I adjusted the speed up at one point because it read the truck speed limit sign. But if I hadn't done that, it wouldn't have necessarily been unsafe. It would have maybe annoyed the people behind me. But it could have arrived here completely on its own without any human input from me. And I bet you they'll be able to fix that pretty quickly with the vision speed network that they have, which can look at a road and figure out what the right speed is. So I would think that maybe I would think that maybe they could use the vision speed network to say, okay, it's giving me 25 miles per hour as the truck speed limit, or the speed limit, and it didn't read the truck part, I guess. But this road doesn't look like a 25 road. It looks like it's a faster road. So maybe they could apply the vision speed network, which they've used to make sure that you're not speeding on sort of local roads or narrow roads, and apply that to some of the more highway speed roads as well. So there you have it. We made it here. The car took me here with just computer vision. I've never been here before. I didn't know if it would work. It worked great. So the bottom line, the message I want to send home is, if you're one of these people who've been doubting the Tesla team, it's time to reconsider. It's time to stop. It's time to maybe consider saying, you know what, I was actually wrong. This could actually be a fucking game changer for the planet. This could save the life of somebody I love. And this is 100% a worthwhile endeavor. This is worth taking a risk on. Because when something's important enough, you have to do it. Even if it seems unlikely, someone has to do it. All of these auto companies are content to just make the same car, let people crash and die. Nobody thinks about going the extra mile. Can we detect drowsy drivers, and maybe if they fall asleep, we pull the car over safely using FSD? Everybody else just says that's impossible. Tesla says, how can we make it possible? And, especially since the acquisition of Twitter, so many people just offended by something political or his tweet, just trashing Tesla and Elon constantly. And, get over yourself. Stop being children. This is the level of insanity our political discourse has come to. That people would literally destroy and get rid of one of the greatest innovators of our generation, who is building things like reusable rockets that long term are important for the survival of humanity. Deploying AI that is going to have massive safety benefits near term and completely transform the economy long term. And they would like to get rid of him just because they don't agree with some of his tweets. Really. We have to get to a place where we can talk, we can discuss, and we don't hate each other just for having a different opinion. Everybody forms opinions based on their life experience. If you had somebody else's life experience, you'd have the same opinion as them. So really, let's just take a moment to acknowledge that the Tesla Autopilot and AI team have done something fucking incredible here. Okay? And you can criticize it. You can say, oh, they should do this better, that better. It's fine. But in the big picture, how can you not look at this and be amazed by this? How can you not look at my car driving 6 hours without a takeover from San Francisco to Los Angeles with just 8 1.2 megapixel cameras and say, wow, that's fucking amazing. That is something that I did not think was possible. Because honestly, I didn't think it was possible. And I couldn't believe it when I saw it. So anyway, start paying attention. Instead of just trashing the Tesla team and Elon all the time, maybe it's time to realize that They did it again. Just like they brought EVs to the market in a way that changed the surface of our streets, they're doing the same thing with automated and autonomous vehicle technology. And this is going to be extremely powerful, not just because of all the lives that Tesla will save in their cars with their software, but because it's going to convince the entire industry that they have to adopt this technology too, and you're already seeing it happen. Porsche just signed a deal with Mobileye to put their new supervision system in that is going to potentially provide more FSD beta-like capabilities down the road. So this is a really good thing that's happening for the world, and I gotta give kudos to the Tesla team. All the naysayers are just looking more and more foolish every day. Alright, have a good Mother's Day, everybody. Take care.